Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kicking Out of Two. Best little podcast you're not watching. How y'all doing today? It's me, it's Mike, and with me as always is my audio tag team partner, Tori. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a day.
It has. But we won't get into that. Hopefully this will be a nice little respite for both of us here for the day. So first thing we're going to go over the news. To me, the most important news that we need to talk about is JD McDonagh, Jesus Christ. This man about died.
I'm like you. I thought we were going to have another Big E situation.
Yeah.
Because that was really bad.
Yeah, I caught it the first time they did it, and they replayed it so many times. And I don't know how I feel about that, because they replayed it a lot.
I think if he hadn't gotten up and... Did you see the moonsault he hit after the fact?
Yes. Well, not only that,
man, okay.
But then he got a knee to the back of the head.
Did he take that finisher too from them?
Yeah. Or no, I don't think it was the finisher. I think Eric just did a knee to the back of the head.
That knee that he does. Yeah. Okay.
So he got that. It's like, holy crap, leave this man alone.
So I saw the hit and I was like, ooh, that was not good. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
I figured in my head, best case scenario was like whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. This man broke a rib and punctured a lung, still hit that moonsault, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Well, and so what that means to me, and just layman watching the show, all right, so a rib, punctured lung, which means basically that hit he did that was so devastating didn't do anything, because none of that he hit would have anything to do with either one of those injuries. Holy crap, that man is a beast. I want to make the joke that the reason it didn't is because his head is 300 pounds, but I'll leave that alone. Him to have just that little bit of injury, but and I know it's old school thinking, but him finishing out the match, walking down the ramp, and then right when he gets to gorilla. Yeah.
I don't think at the time, I mean, I would think he would have felt the punctured lung, but again, adrenaline.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of that. There's 16,000 people screaming. I love that the fans clapped when he got up to. As much as he
Yeah,
gets booed, I appreciated the fact that the fans were like, "All right, cool, he's up."
yeah.
Um,
It
I
was
do
definitely an
feel
amazing
there's
thing.
a certain level of the ref or somebody should have been like, "In this now, tell Dom to take that L,"
Hmm.
like, or just take him out of the match completely and let Dom do what he can.
Yeah.
Um, I I feel like that call should have been made, but at the same time, I'm not there. I'm
With
not in it.
yeah, I mean, with those two injuries, really the ref can only take his word for it. Like, can
Right.
you go? Because there's nothing in the eyes that you could be able to tell to see if he's like, not there. The punctured lung may be breathing. Like if he was having a hard time breathing, you could tell, but
Right. And
he
that's
seemed like he was breathing fine. I mean, really, like I get you with you saying that maybe the ref should have called it after that hit, but
yeah.
like if
But
he says
again,
I'm
it's
good, then what are we gonna do?
and you can't call that from Gorilla because you don't know.
Right.
If he said I'm good, the ref's gonna have to, and you could have looked in his eyes. He's not gonna be glassy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Because he wasn't knocked out, it wasn't concussion, like it. But yeah, like the way he hit, because it looked like he hit flat, like right in the crook of the neck, and his head smacked back. Um, Looking at it, like I've knowing that he was better, I was able to look at it a lot more today because I didn't want to watch it
yeah,
anymore. But
no, it was
it does look like maybe he hit more of like the top of the shoulder, but it just looked so much worse because of how fast he hit and how much his head went back. But it did look like maybe it was a little bit lower, like towards the shoulder blade area that he hit, which you know,
watching it again. You can see where it like you said, shoulder blade.
yeah,
But because of how the new table is, there's that gap between the ledge and that cover,
yeah.
and
Um,
that's what he hit his head on. So
Friend of the show, Big Mike, he'd mentioned in a tweet, and he was like, it's weird that having a punctured lung and a broken rib is the good news,
I saw that, and he's not
but
wrong
he's not.
because, yeah, that's if that's all that happened from that, and it's not a neck injury, paralysis, loss of feeling.
Yeah, and I
Okay,
mean, just someone was shining down on him because it's like 2 inches one way or the other,
yeah,
and
and that's really bad.
yeah, that's a really bad situation. So glad that he's getting okay. He said he's going to be out a few weeks. Um, so hopefully he just comes back and he'll be fine.
If when he comes back, they don't use this for a babyface push, because the fan reaction to the hit,
Yeah.
the response when he got up, everything we've seen on Twitter today, I haven't even been on BlueSky.
Hmm.
Like, this is the perfect opportunity when he comes back to try a face run. I don't know how well it'll work, but at least give it a shot.
Yeah. Well, and the way the trajectory is right now, it looked like Finn was going to be the big bad and everybody else was going to peel off. And maybe now you peel them off because it seemed like it was just going to be amicable. Like it was going to be they go and he goes and does his thing. Not amicable. That not everybody's okay with it, but just like Finn was going to screw over the group. He wasn't going to be part of the group
Right.
anymore. They all stay heels, but Finn is off being an uber heel. Um, Maybe you spin everybody off to be a face then for a little bit. Go
Yeah.
ahead and push that. You already were kind of pushing it with Dom, so just instead of having JD ride Finn's coattails, push him with Dom too. Make them a tag team. Let's do that. That sounds like a cool little idea.
And they'd be a good tag team.
Yeah.
All right, what other news we got?
Other news we got is a lot of 2K25 information.
Okay.
Um, they made that announcement on Monday night as far as Roman Reigns is going to be the cover person, which we all kind of figured anyway.
He should
Um,
be.
Once that came out, though, it was just floodgate of information. So there's going to be 3 different versions of the game. There's going to be the standard version, there's going to be the Bloodline edition, and there's going to be the Dead Man edition.
Let's not forget that Paul Heyman is on that cover with Roman and should be too.
Well, not only that, but I pointed this out. I was watching the Lowdown yesterday, and I mentioned to them in the chat. This is the first time a manager has been on a 2K ever. So
Okay, and
awesome.
it being him,
Yeah.
it's Paul. I mean,
but I thought I had the prices written down here, but I guess I did not. But they're pretty pricey. We're talking both the higher editions are both over 100. I want to say the standard was like 69, 79, somewhere in there. So they're pretty pricey. Got some cool features coming up though. We got 2K Showcase with the Bloodline Dynasty, so it's a whole run through of it. There's already been some screenshots of it. We got a screenshot of Umaga, and there's someone in the background of Umaga's entrance, which we can only assume is Estrada.
Armando, that's solid.
That would be awesome
That's
if Armando was
solid.
part of it. Well,
Didn't he work with Zilla on the, or was it Jacob before he came over?
It was Zilla.
Okay.
So,
I knew I'd seen him not too long ago, so
even better, we can kind of recreate that if we download a good Zilla. Or if he shows up in the game, because we don't know. There is an island mode, which they have said is going to be specifically for PS5 or Xbox Series S. This is going to be, if you think like the 2K NBA games, how they have that freestyle city that you can kind of run through and do things in. That's what this is going to be. So I don't know what that, like, for basketball it makes sense because you go to little by God, you go through like local basketball arenas and stuff like that. That makes total sense.
right.
Are we gonna go to local shows maybe, or like gyms to work out? Like I don't know what we're doing with that, but it sounds like fun. It's talked me out of. I was gonna get the two things talked me out of this. I was gonna get the PC version this next round for the mods, just to kind of have some fun with that. Plus, it would be easier to stream for me.
Okay.
But the fact that that's going to be Xbox Series S and PS5 alone, I got to get the Xbox version because I got to see what that's about.
I really need them to make it so that we can both play.
Hold that thought. We'll get there. There's an expanded roster, over 300 characters this go round.
So I saw that earlier, and I agree with the question that was asked. How many of these are duplicates?
Yeah.
Different versions or characters or years, whatever,
Right.
Like, are we going to get Jamaican Kofi and then New Day Kofi originally and now heel Kofi?
Well, and so like we're talking about the bloodline, so it's like, are we going to get like El Generico, original Sammy,
Bloodline Sammy?
Yeah, we're going to get different versions of him, and that takes up 5 or 6 slots of it. Are we going to get every version of Roman that all he really did was change the color of his glove? Like, what are we doing with those? But even if you think about it, like if there's let's say a dozen people that have a handful of other, versions of that person, we're still talking like 250 characters. That's an insane amount of people. And with all of the legend deals that we got, with TNA making that contract that they've been working on, and they've had, I want to point this out because it's very important to think about. Jacob, Tama, and Tonga are all three already in it. Like we've seen screenshots of them. They're there. Wyatt 6 are there, and they're Wyatt 6 set up. So that means as long as they've been having this TNA stuff go on, if they knew this was a thing and they were going to do the TNA thing, we could see some TNA people show up in this game.
If we get Nick Nemeth, Ash by Elegance, we can bring Santino in. That's a win.
Yep. Joe Hendry.
Yeah, Joe Hendry. I'm just thinking of all the people that are now in TNA
that
came.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Let's be honest. I think Dana Brooke has been in previous games, but nobody noticed. Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking of people like that.
The Hardys, they're back.
May have been in other games, but because of who they were, you didn't really care.
Yeah.
But if you bring them in now, like if you bring in the system, that's adding a lot of people.
If I don't have to create Rosemary this year, I'll be extremely happy. That's my bar.
I know that's right.
Because I create her every year, and if I didn't have to do that, I'd be really happy about it. New match types. These include intergender wrestling, a bloodline rules match, an underground match. They've added barricade diving. There's also
like you can go over the barricade or off it.
Like diving off the barricade.
Nice.
They've mentioned in teasers that the Buried Alive match may be back. That chain wrestling is coming back.
Okay.
Chain wrestling was something I really enjoyed, and that's the only thing I think that AEW's game this past year, had on WWE, because they brought in chain wrestling like was in the original like N64 games. I love chain wrestling. I think that's a lot of fun to have on there. Now to what you were questioning. My GM mode now supports online multiplayer up to 4 players.
Fuck yeah!
So we will have to work that out as far as like what day is GM mode day, whether it's Tuesday or Thursday. We'll work that out. You good? Didn't think about that before you did it.
Keep going.
Okay. My faction will be coming back, featuring Faction Wars, new stages, World Tour mode, live events like it has already. My Rise is coming back, a multi-gender storyline where Bailey and Kevin Owens and others invade NXT. So that's what My Rise is this year. So that's going to be kind of fun. So you kind of start on the main roster and invade, or they're invading NXT where you are. I'm not sure which, but either way, you're already established, and you're not doing the whole coming from the indies thing, all that again. At least it seems like. Universe mode, they're saying that they buffed that up some. Creation Suite, they also said they buffed that up some. Oh, I did have the numbers here. I'm sorry. So Standard Edition, $69.99. Dead Man Edition's $99.99. $99.99. Excuse me.
I don't care about that one.
Bloodline Edition $129.99. Which that answers it for me, because I was wondering which one was more, the Bloodline or the Dead Man. So I'll be getting the Bloodline Edition, obviously.
Right.
So yeah, it looks like the game's gonna be awesome. The number one thing for us is that GM mode's finally gonna be online, so we can play it together and have a lot more fun with it. So I'm very excited about that coming.
Then I can make sure that the things that I want are what actually gets picked and not.
I'm still gonna put my controller down when I'm done. Just
right.
It'll be interesting to see how it works though, because like we'll have to figure out, do I see what you're doing? Do you see what I'm doing? Like how does that work? Are we seeing the same screen initially?
Right. I hate to interrupt. It looks like it was just announced within the last little bit. Sunday, August 31st, Clash in Paris.
Oh.
Instead of like Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
We're just kind of floating that around. I'm good with that.
And I'm good with it. I mean, I'm a big fan of other countries getting these pay-per-views. Partly because we can watch them at like noon and then we don't have to, like, we're fucking done.
Yeah. Order some pizza or some McDonald's breakfast, depending on what time of the day it is.
Some Popeyes, I'm just saying.
So that's it for the game. Early access starts March 7th, which is actually this year a massive amount because it comes out the 14th. So that means if you pre-order, you get it a whole week ahead of time.
When's it come out?
It comes out the 14th. Early access starts the
February?
7th of March.
Of March.
So it's still one more month away, but still it's a whole week. Versus normally it's like it comes out Monday, we get it Friday. So whole week extra. What's up?
I just want to tell you that it's National Kazoo Day. And I like it. And it's the video of Edge and Christian with their kazoos.
You think you know me.
Playing, and then playing Triple H's song and then playing Kurt's.
Mm-hmm. Next news story. So we talked about PCO on the last episode. little bit more info about that. So just kind of catch people up here. On January 19th, the People vs. GCW show, PCO destroyed the TNA Digital Media Championship with a sledgehammer. GCW was reportedly unaware of any of this plan. Tensions between TNA led to the incident after contract negotiations fell through on December 19th. PCO had proposed reduced pay, but more dates for TV visibility. They turned him down on that. He was not happy about that.
This is one of those things that no one has bought a ticket for you, bro. So
Yeah.
no one needs you on television.
He did
I have a feeling he's going to kind of float away into obscurity after this one.
possibly, or he might stay there and like. Well, I mean, I don't know how happy GCW is because it happened on their TV, but like that type of organization or Guerrilla Pro, like he might stay in that kind of hardcore area and just kind of stay there until he's done. He did respond to it. He gave his perspective. He said that the title smash was intended to entertain fans and put on a memorable show despite frustrations with TNA management. So he's saying it had nothing to do with TNA. He did it just to be entertaining. You destroyed their property, homie. Like, that's not I'm doing this for fun.
This is not Cody taking a sledgehammer to the throne.
Mm-hmm.
This is no. There's nothing. You didn't do this for entertainment.
Yeah.
You did it. You went into business for yourself, and now you're backpedaling because you got called on it.
Matt Hardy apparently has gotten pretty big backstage at TNA as far as knowing some of the ins and outs. He commented on his podcast stating that TNA was blindsided by PCO's actions. He did praise his creativity, though. Matt Hardy has been known to color outside the lines when it comes to creativity.
And I get that, but Matt also knows that there's a line.
Yeah.
And you can tiptoe right up to that bitch.
Yeah.
But
he jumped over that. So WWE lands a major signing. Jordynne Grace has officially signed with WWE. I think we all knew that was coming. She also mentioned that apparently her husband's contract is also in question. Not that he is coming to WWE, but just he's not signed anywhere right now. And
he could still show up at the Rumble.
He could still show up at the Rumble.
That'd be huge.
It would be. That'd be awesome. To see him show up first of all, and just to like he's great. He's a great entertainer. I think if we're not going to have the Demon Finn, which it looks like that character's kind of been put out to pasture, I think his like octopus character or whatever that is, I think that would be a good filler for that type of entertainment. And plus seeing him in matches with like Penta would be amazing.
Yeah.
Big E joins Marvel. I don't know if you saw this.
I saw that, and my first thought was, why weren't you with your boys? This is why you got kicked out of the New Day.
You over here chatting with Marvel instead of over here hanging with your boys, helping them out. No, leaving Xavier high and dry. Maybe the reason that his family didn't get there in time.
His family hates him, Big E. You're to blame for this.
That's right.
Same reason Kofi's mom walked. This is Big E's fault. It's not Kofi or Xavier.
Well, no, hold on. So maybe the reason that they had those shirts on is because that's all they had left at the merch table because they got there late because Big E should have picked them up and brought them there early. And so all they had left was New Day Suck shirts. So they got to leave with some sort of souvenir. Or, Mama Woods didn't have her glasses on. She misread it. It looked like a New Day shirt.
Yeah, that's possible.
Anyway.
But it's Big E's fault.
Big E's fault. But no, he's confirmed as a voice actor in Disney Plus upcoming Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series, which apparently is a different telling of the Spider-Man series. A little bit of nerd to come out during this podcast. Why not? Originally, the show was supposed to be like the high school years of the Tom Holland version of the thing, but they decided to change it to a different universe because they felt like if they're trying to tell a story about characters that are already out there, it kind of ties their hands on some of these characters. Like they couldn't use the Vulture because the Vulture's already been used and he's already out, and you can't use like a lot of these characters that they've already put out there. because they're using them. So you have to be very careful with that. So I get that. Also, it's got a chance for them to do kind of like what Batman did this year with their new animated series. Is they got to change the dynamics of some of the characters, like in the Batman series. Oswald is now Oswalda, and so it's a female version of the Penguin instead of a male version of the Penguin.
I'm sure that went over really well with the fandom.
It certainly did, and we're just going to say that it did, and we're going to move on with the conversation.
Do you follow Wrestle Cringe on Twitter?
I don't think so.
They post things that are just cringe wrestling takes or tweets. This person felt that tweeting, would you guys be down with a Penta deportation storyline? I think
that.
WWE is missing some of these over the top storylines Vince used to do.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Andrade versus Penta in a deportation match. Winner and loser gets deported. I'm sorry. Are you... What?
Yeah. We're
just when I think wrestling fans can't get worse.
We are our own worst fandom. It happens. Showrunner Jeff Trammell of the show revealed that he's been recording Big E's lines for years, even when he was recovering with a neck brace. So he's been doing this for a bit now. Big E has expressed his excitement about the role. There was also a question as far as like if we watch the show, are we hearing Big E's voice? And the answer was yes, you absolutely hear Big E. A little bit of WBD and AEW update. AEW began streaming on Max in 2025 while maintaining strong cable viewership. Sources confirmed that AEW ranks among the top 5 live sport, among the top, not 5, top live sports events on Max through streaming numbers. They do remain undisclosed at the moment. I'm glad to hear they're doing good.
Yeah.
I mentioned to a tweet the other day, I've got one guy that follows me directly, and he seems to be a big, like, I don't know, WWE hater. And so it's a lot of, like, you guys always say blah, 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 blah. And so, like, one of them was like, well, what are you guys going to say about this? And so I replied back to him. I was like, as a fan of E, I think it's great. If they continue to do good numbers, it makes E even better. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't either. Neither one of us understands the tribalism because it's stupid.
Yeah.
And the number of wrestlers that have come out and said this tribalism is stupid because these are our friends over here and we support them doing well too.
Yeah.
Please stop this.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that people don't understand. Like, and we say it all the time, it's come almost rote at this point every time we come up with this conversation of it's a buffet. If you don't like the mac and cheese, the prime rib is right over there. You ain't got to talk shit about the mac and cheese to go eat the prime rib. Like, it's fine. Wrestling is for everybody. If you like comedy wrestling, there's a spot for that. If you like just, the wrestling style, there's a place for that. If you like luchador style, there's a place for that. If you like the old school stuff, you got NWA. It's also a good place if you are in the red states.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But I mean, if you like the family style entertainment, the whole package, then WWE is there because they have a little bit of everything. They have the wrestlers, they have the entertainment, they have they have it all.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me that people hate on one just because they don't like it.
Yeah, and to see that they're doing well, they're still doing good cable numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I personally watch on Max
just
because it's easier for me.
Yeah, me too.
Because I can, especially like the days that I take Mary to work, I can turn on HBO before I leave, and guess what's ready to play as soon as I get home? Like it's already. Whereas TNT or TBS doesn't always work that way.
Yeah. Well, and like I forget who tweeted this out the other day, but I responded to it. They felt like they were the only ones that will start. Oh, it was Ryan Satin. That's who it was. He's like, am I the only one that like starts Netflix in the car? on the way home to listen to SmackDown on the way, or to listen to Raw on the way home.
Right.
Like, no, absolutely not. Like, I do that crap because I will listen to the show live. If something cool happens, then I'll go back and watch it later. But like, I can kind of guess what I'm seeing by what I'm hearing in the show.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I'll turn it on in the car and blast it. I don't care. All right. Well, we are ready for the 3 count.
I'm not dancing. I'm not even courageous. I'm not dancing.
Did you hear
That
that?
was just off the top of my head too. You should be really proud of that. That was just off the top of my dome.
Did you hear that apparently the green circles were a mistake? Because they made them, and they were like 100 pounds each.
What green circles?
The green circles that they danced on. They all had
Oh,
the green little circle platform they'd bring out there with them.
yeah.
100 damn pounds. I think that was a rib. 3 little dudes out there carrying 100 pounds to the ring every night.
Right. That's 100% a rib.
We're going to go ahead and start with yours. The first one you want to talk about is the Hounds of Hell. So they had a match with Gates of Agony. What else did you want to talk about them? Because we talked
To
about
be
the match
clear,
already.
that match was not crisp
Ew.
at all.
Brody almost got dumped on his head.
Several times. That was Wednesday. Was that Wednesday or Saturday?
That was Saturday.
Okay.
was homecoming.
Yeah, we talked about it because.
Which, side note, hold on, but before we go on with that, we just got through talking about AEW and their numbers and all that. I want to say they looked fantastic in Daly's Place. It was wall-to-wall people, and it's a smaller crowd, but it looked amazing on television.
Here's the thing. I saw things today that NXT is going to run the same venue in Boston that AEW did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you saw how fucking good that looked.
Well, so not only that, but that's the old WCW, like the old WCW one, where like Terrorizing wrestled.
Oh,
please tell me we're bringing back the spinning ring. I want that.
So I loved the presentation. The match was okay. Yeah. There were a lot of, like we talked about, there were some misses.
Well, they're lacking for good tag teams right now. That would be credible, but still an obvious win.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to see who was.
You're fine.
It's Cedric and Ethan Page.
Ah. Said getting in there with Ethan. All right.
Cedric went to do that like handstand spring off the ropes. Ethan just ran up and kicked him in the face.
Ethan out here wrestling like Samoa Joe. I gotcha.
It was almost the Adam Cole spot, but he was like upside down against the ropes. Ethan just kicks him in the face. It's the cutter ball game.
Nice.
The match, like I said, there were some misses in the match. And I don't know if it was ring rust, because I haven't seen Gates of Agony wrestle in a minute.
Yeah.
I'll
be honest, I didn't realize it was Gates of Agony with the outfit they were wearing. I was like, what is this?
I didn't at first either.
Samoan Tongan group that we got going on here?
Yeah. Like, please don't do anything that resembles the Bloodline, because that's not going to go well with the internet community.
Just real quick while we're at it, I don't want a dog on it. I don't. But you had mentioned something that you loved, and that we were starting to see the Samoan headbutt spot become a thing again, because that's an amazing thing. That's a fun spot.
And it should be.
But he did that like 5 times in this match.
There's a limit. Once or twice.
To me, it's once. You hit that one good time of like, you've elbowed him in the head, you've headbutted him, something like one of those things. All right, we do the funny spot of like, oh, it didn't hurt him. Okay. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
God, that Michael Oku Will Ospreay match was 3 years ago. Jesus.
Wow.
The second match in their trilogy.
Good job for Timmy O'Toole.
Huh?
It's a good job for Timmy O'Toole.
the presentation of Hounds of Hell, the music, the entrance, the still using the Brody doing the cannonball into the corner and Buddy running in with the kick,
Yeah.
just without the third person.
Mm-hmm.
I liked. Yeah, I am so excited about what they do with this.
I am
Now,
too.
I do have a certain level of I think they're going to drop the ball somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm excited right now.
Yeah. It looks good. I do hope that if they're going to keep them as a team, let's match them up a little bit, because you got Brody coming out there with the mask and the chain and the puffer jacket and all that stuff, and then you still
Part of that was the fact that it was like 40 degrees.
yeah. Well, but
It was hella cold in Jacksonville.
that's his entrance gear though. Like he walks in there as if he's like, I don't even know how to explain a comparison of what that looks like, but he comes out there with the chain with the lock on it, and he looks like a thug. And then you got Buddy Matthews still coming out there with like the scarf type thing and the cut shorts.
I agree. And I think they'll clean up things like that. I think that's yes, we should have addressed it ahead of time, but
mm-hmm.
they don't always hit every time when they start something.
Yeah.
But they usually clean it up. At the same time, I'm good with them looking a little different.
Yeah.
Because like Buddy challenged Okada.
Yes, because he said he barked like a bitch.
Which was funny. And then Buddy called him a bitch, which was funny. So I'm good with them as a tag team, but then like Buddy's going to do the singles thing. So let's have Brody do something singles right now, and then let's have them go. Give me them in the Hurt Syndicate, because fuck.
Yeah. Brody and there with Bobby would be
that match would absolutely Shelton and Buddy. Because Shelton may be in the best shape of his career.
Yeah. I think he's in the best shape, and I think he's doing the best work that he's ever done. He's doing so well. Your number 2 thing was so it's the I just have it written down as Raw on Netflix recap, but it was the whole Sami Zayn Drew.
It was more the Sammy Karrion Kross thing.
Yeah. Well, the accidental kicks and then Karrion Kross.
So obviously last week he kicked Seth. This week he kicks Cody. Well, there was a video on Twitter today of Scarlett and Karrion Kross standing in the tunnel. And when it happens, he looks at her and says, well, you were right. Are we going to get like the High Priestess Scarlett like we had before? Because give me every bit of that.
That would be cool. Well, and I don't know if you saw this then, but there was also a vignette in between the 2 kicks where Sammy is backstage talking to Karrion, and Karrion's he's like, that's what we need. We need you like to da.
Yes.
Talking him up like he did Woods and Kofi and Miz and all that.
Drew, Miz, Woods and Kofi, Sammy. I saw a thing the other day that had all of them shown, and I was like,
he's been stirring the pot for a long time.
Yes.
So
this is a great way to take his character, because how much do we when he first came out, we're like, what are you fucking doing with him?
Hold on. I thought about this the other day. Is he just being the devil's advocate character that we were supposed to get? Because that seems what it is. He's just backstage bringing the devil out of people. And you can kind of see it like with Sammy when he left after kicking Cody. He's like losing his shit going up the ramp. And so if we're getting that character where Karrion Kross is basically like the devil on their shoulder, telling them, look, you're not a good guy.
Or what you're doing is not getting you where you want to go. And you could do it, have him do it with some of the heels too.
Oh, yeah.
Do it with him and Dom. Have him have this conversation with Dom and say, look, you've been doing this way. Is that working for you?
Mhm.
Is being the Judgment Day working for you? Is being with Rhea and Liv working for you?
Yeah, could be. But it's definitely a very interesting thing, the mind games he's playing, and like you're saying, how that's going to coordinate with Scarlett. It's going to be fun to watch. It's one of those things where, like, WWE has these Marvel moments of there's this thing that we said. Now see where that's connecting pieces, and that's what he's doing. Is he's
So,
putting these little nuggets in.
well, you had talked about Drew, Kevin, and I don't remember, basically a new Shield.
Right. It was Drew, Kevin, Seth. Was look like what we
What
were
if
doing.
it's Drew, Kevin, and Sammy?
That could be fun.
Because who's been involved with both of those kicks?
Yeah.
Give me that with Karrion Cross as their here's your next assignment.
Yeah. Well, continuing that devil's advocate of he's just like
Yeah.
in their ear. It'd be a lot of fun. I don't want to get too far into trying to like book that in our heads because I don't want to
Right. I'm
upset
just saying
ourselves
that
because that's
with the way that it's going, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little bit of a Sammy heel turn.
yeah. Um, just we tend to get ourselves in trouble in a fantasy book. Like we're going to talk on my 3 about something that I was fantasy booking in my head, and I'm very upset that they went the direction they went instead of my direction because I think it would have been a lot better.
Right.
Um,
Right.
So your third one that you wanted to talk about is the WWE Transfer Portal, and who's went over
Which
there.
ends with the Rumble Saturday.
Right.
So we found out Monday. Was it Monday or last Friday that Miz is on SmackDown now?
That was that was last Friday because
Last Friday.
he was thinking he was just there for a Miz TV,
Right.
and then we broke the news of no, you're on SmackDown full
With
time.
the Wyatt.
Yeah.
Which they still haven't shown up at SmackDown.
They haven't. I've been trying to keep an eye on the story of that. There's chatter of some things, but nothing substantial. Just as far as like they don't know what to do. Like that's the chatter I'm seeing is they don't know what to do with it.
And wasn't this? I think you and I talked about that. Like that was the concern.
Yeah, because what like once you're done with the spooky, what do you do with them?
So this week we found out Damian Priest is now on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of that.
I am too.
We found out Friday or Monday, that Zelina is moving to SmackDown.
Yep.
I question this one. What are you going to do with her?
I have 2 thoughts of what we can do. So the first one is we're actually going to give her a real shot at the women's like division because she needs an actual shot at the women's division, or we've got her husband coming in.
He may be going to SmackDown, but you know what they may do with her?
Stick her back with
Put her
Andrade,
back with Andrade.
which would be okay too.
That'd be fantastic because some of his biggest success was with her.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think that does indicate that Malachi, if I feel like we all are, he's going to be at the Rumble. He's going to show up Saturday.
I don't know if he's going to be at the Rumble. Just because they're really pushing this, like whoever's Chad's talking to is someone with the dark arts, and he has already said that he's got things to take care of at the Rumble before he goes and talks to him.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're holding off that for after the Rumble as a surprise.
The SmackDown after.
Yeah. Because there's already going to be a lot of stuff. Like you have 20 people in both Rumbles, and you're already trying to throw surprises in there because we have the TNA thing, and then Legends coming back, and like there's already a lot. Plus, there's already talk of like Randy showing back up, Charlotte showing up. There's already a lot going on.
There's a lot. Well,
holding that off a week, I could see why.
I think the Damian Priest move is smart.
It is.
It gets him away from the Judgment Day.
Yep.
I don't like that it gets him away from Rhea.
See, I do.
I don't.
Because I don't feel right now, Rhea has her own identity. When
Absolutely.
Rhea is in the ring, you don't think about Damian. If Damian's in the ring, I still think about Rhea. So if we
I
separate the
guess
two for a
I
little while, let him
don't.
build his own thing. Bring them back together at some
I
point, but
I think that that's one of those that he has done well to get over on his own.
yes.
I do think I do think a little bit of keeping the mommy rub going isn't a bad thing. And even if it's not, she's out there with him all the time. But if say he's wrestling Karrion Cross and Scarlett gets involved, mommy gets involved.
Yeah. Well, and it's
You know,
not
he's
like we couldn't do that. So, like I've never understood why dealings like that. Why don't we use those at pay-per-views? So, like, we have a pay-per-view coming up. Damian's on it. He's facing, we'll say, Karrion Cross, who has Scarlett with him. Rhea has a match later in the night. Rhea's in the building. If Scarlett's cheating and needs to be dealt with, why would Rhea not come down to the ring?
right. No, 100%.
Like, I don't understand, but they won't do that though because she's on Raw and he's on SmackDown.
Right.
There's no payoff tomorrow for it, but still.
I feel like it's not a bad thing. But yeah, I'm curious to see what else we do with the trade window because we still have SmackDown.
Well, and then we also still so going to Raw, we had Bayley show up, which giggity. A-Town Down Under showed up on Raw. I mentioned that one because I think it was John over on Lowdown. I think he called that. Like, he flat out said, he's like, they'll move to Raw. So that's kind of a nice little shout out there. And even though no NXT quote unquote trades have happened, we are seeing like the Metaphor girls, they're showing up on SmackDowns and Raws. We're seeing, of course, in the crowds on Netflix, seeing Roxanne in the crowd, seeing Cora Jade pop up places. So we also have them moving around a little bit. So who's to say what'll happen between now and the Rumble as far as other people moving over? So it'd be kind of fun.
Right. And I definitely think this is where we talked about like the A-Town Down Under was just on SmackDown or on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So was Bayley. They would have benefited from going to NXT. A-Town Down Under would have.
Yeah, they would have. The only thing is we've already got one tag team that should have broke up a year ago over there. So how are they going to continue their story if we do that? For my 3 count, my first one I want to talk about Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu, which I feel tie for match of the night. And the only reason I don't think it was
100%.
match of the night is because it wasn't a match; it was a massacre. But it was a Big E special. It was big meaty men slapping meat. That ended in Fatu delivering 3 devastating moonsaults. He did the hip attack. I want to say it was 4 times, and then they stopped him at the 5th one, if I remember right, because they were like, "All right, it's done. We're not doing this anymore." Little confused by that because it wasn't a referee stoppage. They disqualified Jacob, but he didn't do anything illegal. He just didn't listen to the ref when the ref said, "Stop it." I'm a little confused by how that ended. If it was referee stoppage, he should have won the match, and maybe that's why we called it a DQ instead, is because we don't want to give Jacob the win. But
I don't know. I don't.
Regardless,
with the way he beat him down, why do we not want Jacob to have the win? It's not going to hurt Braun to take that L.
Well, and I think part of it is we want Jacob to seem wild. Because even like in one of the cases, I think it was one of the moonsaults, if I remember right, even Tama Tonga was trying, like, he was like, "That's enough." And he like shoved him away and then got up there and did it again.
Yeah.
So maybe we're trying to say like he's a loose cannon. He's going to go out here and just beat you down until you're not getting back up. Braun Strowman did tweet out after with blood because one of the moonsaults
I
he got
saw that.
caught in the face. But he was like, "You should have killed me when you had the chance." So obviously that's not over yet. But it was just a massive men having a great fight. I can't say enough about the match, to be honest, because you
It
don't
was
see
such a
that
good
often
match.
where it's two big dudes and it's just a great match, and I feel like it was one of Braun's best. Um, I do think the second run at the train he was trying to do, maybe we don't do that because he looked very painful trying to run. Um,
I'm good with it once. The second time, first of all, the second time never works.
yeah,
Like this is right up there with those Kevin Owens things.
hmm,
I didn't call your name. Why are you coming out?
very valid.
Almost every time he does the second one, something happens.
Yeah. Um,
Stop doing it.
the other thing that gets me about this particular match is I thought they had a great opportunity to do something different. We have signified that this is a sturdier table. We have signified that this is a very solid piece of furniture that does not break because we've had things done on it the past couple of weeks and it hasn't even budged. To me, them breaking that table would have been just like breaking the ring in other situations. Because we've seen the ring break so many times now.
Yeah,
They should have broke that table. It should have been a
I agree.
splash from Jacob. Should have been a world's strongest slam from Braun Strowman. Something should have broke that table.
I agree.
Because then that would have been a big deal. But aside from that, I have nothing to say against it. My number 2, Toni Storm reclaiming herself as timeless Toni Storm, happened at AEW Collision Homecoming. There wasn't a match or anything. Toni Storm and Mariah May were having a face-to-face to talk about their upcoming match. Mariah May referenced like whether you've forgotten or whether you're just dumb or whatever. Like, this is going to be over then, and she proceeds to beat her down after a very reminiscent hug from Toni of like the bosom hug that Mariah May used to do to Toni. So that was kind of cool that was there. But after she beats her down, she walks away. She's raising her title. And then you hear the accent. You hear the gravitas. What makes you think our story's over? And so then we find
I'm
out
so
she's been playing the role, which I want to say, if you go back like 7 or 8 episodes, I called that shit because I was like, that'd be a perfect way to do this, is that she's not
yep.
amnesiatic. She's not having a problem. It's literally she's playing a role to bait Mariah back in. The only problem I had with this, the only issue, why are we doing this 2 weeks before the pay-per-view?
I agree.
To me,
It's not a pay per view.
well, yeah, I mean, the event. 2 weeks before
Yeah,
the
I
event that we're
agree.
doing it at. I told you the way I was booking it, and I'll go ahead and say it here for posterity and for the people that watch this over on VOD. To me, I think we should have done this like Mick Foley bringing Cactus Jack out to Triple H. We have Toni Storm. We'll say they've been saying through the night that we don't know if she's going to be able to. Like, we do the beatdown. The beatdown's fine. I'm good with the beatdown. Don't have her turn yet, though. Have a question for the next 2 weeks of whether she's going to be ready and cleared because of the beatdown. And then the day of the event, Mariah May comes to the ring. We see Toni up on the Titantron, and she says, "I'm not ready. I can't do this. I'm just a rookie. But I've talked to Toni. We found someone who can, work with you and who's going to be a good match for you. Have a great match, ladies." Lights go down. Spotlight comes up, and it's timeless Toni Storm standing at the ramp. Then we
I
do the
agree.
same interview that she did at the end of that night. The next day, the next show, the next Dynamite, the next Collision, whatever, of I didn't forget things. Our story wasn't over. I was playing the role of a lifetime.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I cannot with the people. complaining about her body. Stop it. She looks amazing.
Well, and I think a lot of that started because of someone made a joke, which was funny because of it being a reference of, from my understanding, the way I researched it, an Australian joke of being 3 apples high. And then that went to people like, yeah, she's dumpy and she's short. And no, that was a joke about the Australian culture. You guys are taking to body standard issues. And she looks amazing.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I do agree with you. Yeah, I think it could have been done better.
To me,
I
just more
enjoyed it because
impactful. We did it on a
I
Collision,
agree.
which is the B show,
It is.
which I hate saying that. I know that's a term that they don't really
Well,
like,
but
but I mean, look at the ratings. It is obviously the B show. People do not watch Collision as much as they watch Dynamite.
true. I'm the first to admit I generally come back to it.
Yeah. I usually forget, and then you ask me if I watched it, and then I'm like, all right, I need to go back and watch that.
Shit, I could have watched that.
I watched Homecoming 2 days after because I forgot all about it.
But I agree. It was good. The match will be great. The backstage video where Mariah just has that stunned look on her face.
So the look on Mariah's face, and I haven't seen this on Twitter yet, but the look on Mariah's face is reminiscent of Tony's look on her face when she lost the title. Just that blank, 1,000-mile stare walking in the back. Beautifully done. Then Tony coming through later.
Big smile.
Yeah. Just
the lipstick smeared down her chin and saying brava. I'm like,
yeah. And
that was perfect.
The things that she says always just pop me, because her saying, like, because I'm Timeless Tony Storm and I'm going to rip your tits off. Like, what the fuck? What did you just say?
She said, you're a spawn from hell, but you came from my womb and I'm going to shove you back up in there. Bitch, what?
Holy hell.
Yeah, it's one of those things that is just perfect.
Yeah.
Perfectly done.
The last, my number 3, is it's the Rey Mysterio Xavier Woods match, but I gotta admit, it's just basically Woods in general. The man is a certified star. I'm hoping this gets him.
He was Atlanta's favorite son.
That's right. It was such a great backstage moment of Atlanta's favorite sons here.
That was probably my favorite thing Kathy Kelly has ever done that's not on Twitter.
Oh, Cody Rhodes.
Oh, Austin Theory, A-Town Down, right? I'm just it's bravo to Kathy Kelly, because that shit was perfect.
Well, and again, we talk about the references. A lot of people are asking on Twitter if this is new, and it is, as someone who, for other reasons that I'll explain myself later if I have to, looks at Xavier Woods' chest and body more than I should be saying that I do. He has a tattoo now of the Majin Buu symbol, which again,
what's it from?
It's from Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
So it's the symbol that was on Vegeta's head when Majin Buu apparently corrupted him and made him evil. And so the idea of is that symbol makes you evil. And that was the same symbol that Kofi had on his chain.
Really?
Along, like when this all started. So there were little nods to it. But he's just so good. So like the whole idea, like we do the backstage thing. It was like, hey, we're here, Atlanta's favorite son. We're talking A-Town Down and Cody Rhodes. Like, no, me. We find out that his family's going to be there, and he's like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to beat Rey Mysterio, and my mom's going to be out there. My family's going to be out there. My friends are going to be out there. Before we get out there, Is your family here yet? Not yet, but they'll be here. They'll be here. And so they come out there, they're talking their trash on the mic. His family's not there yet. We get an amazing match between him and Ray. Such a good match. I don't think people understand how good Woods is. Because whether he's facing a big guy, whether he's facing a guy his size, or he's facing a little guy, he can do it all.
Yeah.
Like one of the things, like
one of his best matches was Roman.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of Roman. Like, it was one of his best matches because Woods can just fucking go.
Right. But like in this match alone, he did luchador stuff. He did the old British Bulldog delayed suplex, which I don't care how small Ray is. You're holding someone vertical and walking around the ring with them. You're strong as shit. Like, good Lord. Just everything he did here. And then having this amazing match in the ring to turn his attention to the fact that his family finally got there. Along with a rapper, Little Yachty, which I don't know who that is, but
I'm going to go with you're not missing anything.
Yeah. They're all finally there. He breaks concentration, rolls out of the ring, goes over there to confront them. And like, where were y'all? Why weren't you here? And then slowly they all start to undo like their overshirts and their jackets, except for his sister, which apparently his sister decided she wasn't putting on the shirt. She was just going to hold it. But all of them showing that they have New Day Suck shirts, which first of all, I love that we have a New Day Suck shirt. Second of all, the logo on it is the original logo that they fucking hate. Makes it even better. Like, in real life, they hate that logo.
Stop it.
Yeah, because that was the original logo.
Wait, is this the original logo?
The original, like, power, positivity, like, reverend stuff logo that they had. Had, like, an owl in it or something. They're like, what does an owl have to do with power, positivity, and like, gospel stuff? But they absolutely hate that logo. So the fact that it's that logo too makes it even better. It's another step of holy crap. So then he rolls back in, thrown off his game. Rey Mysterio wins the match. I was a little concerned when the match is done, just because like Woods stayed down, and so I'm sure he's okay. I'm sure he was just selling, but like initially I was a little concerned because like everybody's coming in and Kofi's just kind of sitting over Woods. But then Ray gets down there, he grabs, which apparently is why his sister was only holding the shirt, is because that one was Ray's shirt that he was going to put on. He takes the shirt from her, puts it on, and he's there like primming with Woods' family, which perfect. Absolutely wonderful. I love what they're doing with these guys. It's a lovely wrinkle in the fact that we have stripped everything away. We've stripped away the music. We stripped away the dancing. We stripped away the colorful attire. They're in there with black jeans and black shoes wrestling.
Well, and it's such a totally different dynamic for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of what makes it so good, is that it's nothing we've ever seen.
Yeah. It's completely opposite of everything we've seen from them. Because even before the New Day stuff, like Kofi was always in the colorful like green gear and the Jamaican stuff and high flying and all that. And even in this, if you look at his Kofi's match last week and you look at Woods' match this week, they're not doing the fancy moves. So when I say like Woods is doing lucha stuff, like he's getting Hurricanrana and he's doing the full flip of Hurricanrana cell and all that stuff. He's doing that stuff, keeping up with Ray. But
they're
he's
doing
just
very basic.
Yeah, like he's just beating him on the back. He's throwing him into the turnbuckle. He's doing basic moves. He took away all the flashy stuff.
I'm a big fan of all of this.
Yeah.
So
you got distracted by something?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear.
I can't hear you. Hang on.
Okay. Hello, hello. Hello from the other side.
What?
What? Can you hear me yet? Okay. Pardon us folks for our technical difficulties.
Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Okay, now I can hear you.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
I was singing Adele
I don't know
over
what
here.
happened. My earbuds it just stopped working.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I love what they're doing with the New Day. I hope we just get more wrinkles in this as we go along. I don't know if this builds us to an LWO official rivalry with them, or are we just tiding this over until the Big E reveal?
I don't know. I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do here because if we're doing the Big E reveal, okay, but what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I'm kind of like we've talked about. I don't think Big E's getting back in the ring.
if he does, I can tell you what we're doing, or what we should do, I should say. I think Rey Mysterio's in the ring at the Rumble. He eliminates whoever he's in there with. Karrion Kross, don't care. Someone. Woods comes out. Kofi's right after him. They're beating down Rey Mysterio. Big E's music hits. And he just tosses them both the fuck out.
Does he then eliminate himself so we don't take any? So there's no chance of him taking a bad bump.
Well, I think that depends. Like if he can go, and this is all just a ruse to, make us think he can't go, then you have him staying there. Like it was just that's the spot. They're surprised. Everybody's surprised. We'll find out what happens on Monday.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But I don't know. So Thursday.
Do what?
Thursday is quickly approaching.
Yeah.
I guess the question would be: are we going to do a show? Let's start with that.
Are we doing that one starting at 8?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's starting at 8.
Okay.
So I don't know how we would do that. I think we would be pushing it
Probably.
to do a show and then get involved and do all. Yeah, I think that'd be a lot.
So how about this? I will double check with Big Mike to see if he's okay with me restreaming it on ours.
Okay.
And we may just restream the same thing. So what we're talking about, folks, is we're talking about this Thursday. Hey, there you are, just in time. I was going to ask you, since you're already in the chat, why not? Are you good with us restreaming the Thursday show since it's going to be at the same time as we normally stream anyway? I'll give you time to answer that. But we have the Run in Wrestling Rumble draft coming up Thursday. It's going to be us. It's going to be Mike from Cinco. It's going to be Sped. It's going to be Big Mike from the Running Wrestling Pod. It's going to be John A. from over at the Lowdown. And we're going to be drafting.
Chair shot. John's chair shot.
Well, I'm sorry. I loop him in with.
I know you lump him in with Jess. Which props to Jess. She's on a cruise. Hate that bitch right now.
I know the pictures are killing me.
Right.
But we're gonna do a little draft fun there. It's gonna be fun, bringing that crown home to us. So you're welcome. I'll let you borrow it sometimes.
I'm gonna bring that crown home, and you can just set it on the wall behind you to keep it safe for me.
Oh, okay. Is that what we're gonna say? It's just back there because you want it, and I'm putting it back there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't have until I get my office set up and get my shelves. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because then people can see, oh, there's the crown that Tori won, and she's holding it over Mike's head because why not?
Nah. The question, Mike, was, do you mind if we restream the Rumble draft on our show as well? because it's going to be during the time we normally do our show. So if not, I understand, and that's fine, and we can preempt our show until the next week. That's fine. Actually, we'll be preempting it maybe 2 weeks because you will be gone the week after, right?
Yeah, I'll be on vacation next week.
We definitely don't apparently don't like it when I do it by myself. Nobody watches anyway.
Look, that line was off the top of my head, and it was a good one.
It was a damn good line. I told you that one hurt a little. It's like,
We may be able to see if we can get you, if I'm not in, see if Mike or Sped or some of the other guys can jump in to do.
Awesome, dude. Thank you.
Cool. See if John's not, I'm sure we can find some people to hop in here.
That was actually the plan. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we'll preempt the next week, and maybe we won't. It'll all depend. But so we got that coming up Thursday. Definitely tune in to watch that. Watch any of the channels. I'm sure it'll be streaming on all of them. So whichever one you end up on. It's going to be a lot of fun. There may or may not be a special video coming out tomorrow in regards to the run-in draft. Because I feel like
earlier, I was trying to be nice, but people keep talking, so I'm going to have to respond.
Keep seeing people gap their traps. Got to see how that's going. Well, I appreciate you joining us, Mike. We're actually about to log off the stream here, but before we do that, make sure that you keep.
You have two logos on top of each other. I need you to do better.
Sorry. Stay tuned, because Harvey must work on a case with Lewis, but things get awkward when their star witness dies unexpectedly. Next on Suits. I gotta move the other logo. I forgot all about the other logo. I will. I'm just gonna leave that for tomorrow. You'll see what I have to say.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Mike. And anything you want to add in, definitely just throw into the chat there, or if you want to just respond to the show on Twitter, and we'll definitely like to hear anything from you. Absolutely. Well, we're going to go ahead and close this out. So thank you for joining us on the stream today. Don't forget to follow us on the socials, turn on all your notifications. It's free. And then when we're here, and then we don't end up missing people. So it's a good win-win there for everybody. Remember that pro wrestling's for everybody. Keep supporting each other and helping us build an awesome community together. And until next time, I am Michael. This is my best friend Tori, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out.